All right, it's time for us to, unfortunately, talk about some TNA stuff with Bound for Glory's pay-per-view predictions. And let me preface this the same way I preface everything when it comes to TNA. We're not the biggest fans of TNA. We don't really watch Impact and whatever, but people still want to know our opinions on it. So we figure, why not?
It sucks. Can I go now?
In general, we're not looking forward to this pay-per-view, but I always try to give them a chance. You can always check out the pay-per-view coverage on smarkoutmoment.com, chat along on the chat on the sidebar of the page, and give us your opinions too, because if you guys really like it, then, we still want to hear your opinion about it anyway.
Please don't.
So we have a couple matches that we got to talk about. And let's start off with their attempt at doing their own pre-show, their countdown to Bound for Glory. We've got Chavo, Guerrero, and Hernandez versus Bad Influence versus Joseph Park and Eric Young. God, I hate that tag team. Versus the BroMans.
Who the
And
hell's that?
that's Jesse Goddard and Robbie E.
I know who Robbie is. I don't know who the other guy is, but fuck him.
Goddard is the one who was on Big Brother, and he was teaming with Victoria for a little bit until
I
she
got
left.
no fucking clue. You like wrestling way too much.
He's
So
some guy who's not talented, can't wrestle, and they put him in a tag team with someone who is kind of got a good gimmick, kind of can wrestle, but is mostly jobber fodder.
But this is for the number one contendership of the tag team titles. They go on to face James Storm and Gunner. And I'm assuming what they're going to do here is they need a heel team to face Storm and Gunner. I mean, TNA has done face on face and heel on heel before and whatever. They're not as strict about that as WWE is, but I would assume that they're probably going to go with a heel team, and it shouldn't at the very least be bromance. And I think Hernandez and the Spirit of Eddie Guerrero are heels right now. I'm not sure, but I got to go with Bad Influence. They're just the two of them deserve to be on the card much more than everybody else. So hopefully they will win. And I actually think that this might be a pretty good match. It depends on how much we see of Joseph Park and Eric Young in it, but I don't really know. Let me start with Wego. What do you think about this?
As far as the match goes, I definitely agree with you. It's probably going to be Bad Influence winning. I know that they're in that stable. It's called Ego, right?
Yeah.
Um, that's when I get.
Oh, I think we lost Wego.
Did I cut out for a second there?
Yeah, we did.
Okay. As far as Ego goes, I know they get a bit of spotlight on them, and I know Bobby Roode's wrestling later, so I'm going to assume that Bad Influence is going to win this match.
Burhan?
Bad influence, and then the feed cuts off, so I never have to watch it again.
Payton?
I predict this will have the lowest numbers of any pre-show for a wrestling pay-per-view of all time.
We probably do more on the Raw post show.
I don't think that's more of a prediction. I think it's just kind of a guarantee.
A guarantee.
So, moving along with that, the TNA Tag Team Championship, James Storm and Gunner defend against whoever wins that match, and we're kind of thinking Bad Influence here. I'm assuming James Storm and Gunner probably retain the titles still.
No,
You don't think so?
no.
Nope.
I think
Nope.
Hulk Hogan's going to make his return to TNA and single-handedly win the tag team championships with Garrett Bischoff.
Has Garrett Bischoff even been wrestling? I haven't heard much about him.
No.
I think he's going to win them with Eric Bischoff.
Yes! Man, we should be writing for TNA.
No. Because then we would be getting paid.
Oh, yeah.
You'd be on food stamps. Pretty hilarious Bisco.
We'd have to quit and work Japan.
Well, didn't one of the fucking knockouts actually work in Starbucks whilst working for TNA?
Really?
Still does.
I think all of them do.
Hooters. They all work in Hooters.
Well, Brooke does. I know that. Or at least she used to. But
Still does.
That TNA money.
that's a shame.
I still wouldn't mind the Ass-tastic, though.
Who do you
In
think's
my
going to win
face.
that, Wago? Do you think it's going to be James Storm and Gunner retaining or some new tag team champions?
Bad Influence take it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I just think I think the whole stable's going to go out and win on this pay-per-view. So yeah.
Well, then let's skip ahead to Kurt Angle versus Bobby Roode. And I don't know what the storyline going into this is, but I know Kurt Angle just came back from his stint at rehab.
And they had this match 2 years ago at Bound for Glory, so it's a rematch, I guess.
Now you think that Bobby Roode's going to end up winning that too?
Well, didn't Kurt Angle beat him last time? I don't remember.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think Bobby Roode's going to take it anyway.
For some reason, I'm thinking Kurt Angle's going to win, and maybe it's just because he's coming back and they want to kind of give him a little bit of steam and momentum coming back from rehab. Maybe they're going to set him up for something with Tito Ortiz or...
Yeah, Kurt did beat him in 2011, so I'm going to give it to Bobby Roode getting his win back.
Good point. Burhan?
I'm going to say Kurt Angle because, you know, he came back from WWE-sponsored rehab, so that means TNA's need to push because, you know, he was in the WWE prior in rehab. And I think it's going to be a drink binge match. See who could drink the most. And then he'll relapse and go back to rehab.
What do you think, Peyton?
Well, I'm going to make a return of a old favorite when we're talking about TNA, and I'm going to determine my winner by the only way you can determine a winner in TNA wrestling. Heads, Kurt Angle. Tails, Dobby Boob.
Dobby Boob.
Abu Dhabi?
Tails, Dobby Boob.
I bet you any money in the WWE they're going to name him that. If he ever goes to WWE, they just name Dobby Boob.
TNA will probably just listen to this and be like, that's good character change. All right, let's go for it. Knockouts Championship. ODB versus Gail Kim versus Brooke. And I kind of don't see any way that ODB's leaving with the title here. It's going to go to Gail Kim or Brooke. I would assume probably Brooke.
Yeah.
You're going with Brooke, too?
Yeah, I mean, she's been having her status raised, I guess, since being with Bully Ray, so yeah, go with Brooke.
And she just looks fantastic.
She bought those chaps from me.
You going with Brooke too, Burhan?
No, I think it's the Asian hooker.
Oh, do you listen to Steel Panther too?
Yeah, always. The Asian hooker will take the title from the Hooters girl by pinning the Hooters girl, and then the big muscle bound guy competing in the women's division is gonna cry and then start competing with the men again.
What do the heads and tails say about this?
See. It says, lots of perverts will press pause in their DVRs and touch themselves.
Damn, that's like a Saturday night for me.
During ODB's entrance.
Oh yeah, I love him manly.
We have an Ultimate X match for the X Division Championship. Manik, who, I don't know why they decided to change Suicide's character name. Maybe they got some heat for it being Suicide or something.
Well, Tony, he comes alive.
Versus Austin Aries, versus Jeff Hardy, versus Chris Sabin, versus Samoa Joe. A lot of multi-person
What the shit?
matches.
I don't have coins with this many sides on them. What is wrong with them?
You're going to need to get one of those
Have you got more than one coin?
multiple-sided dies.
Did you just say Samoa Bo? You're telling me that Bo Dallas is in this match?
What?
Crickets.
Hey, I would rather watch NXT any day.
So, Ultimate X, usually pretty cool. I don't know necessarily if everybody in this match is going to be fantastic. I mean, Jeff Hardy should try to do something kind of nuts. Samoa Joe's really not an X Division person. I don't know why they continue to throw him into there. That's really awkward to me. Manik, I'm not the biggest fan of whatever. I do like Austin Aries quite a bit. And I think Sabin's one of those perfect guys that is great for this division. Never should have been a world champion, but you know, we could talk about that for the longest time in the world. And Manik has to drop it to somebody I'm thinking either Austin Aries or Jeff Hardy. Not too sure which one. Maybe if I had to pick, I'd go with Austin Aries. Steven?
If I had to pick one, the obvious one would seem Jeff Hardy. They always like to give him a win. I'm just gonna go with the oddball. Sorry, I knew that just cut out. I can actually see when it's cutting out on my feed. But yeah, I think Manik's gonna win it. I think they've been kind of Hulk Hogan and Dixie Carter's pet project type thing. So I think they're gonna give him a big win and push him. Plus, he's a cheap contract.
The people running your Skype must have been the ones running things at Battleground. Jesus.
Yeah, I can actually see when it's cutting out. Like the numbers pause and then they start coming back like 5 seconds later. So.
Burhan?
Isn't Samoa Joe too fat to be competing in the X division?
Maybe he counts as like 2 wrestlers for the X division.
But they must have to like reinforce that fucking Ultimate X structure, because if he tries climbing it, he's probably going to split it, isn't he?
That's why it's got an odd number of wrestlers, because he counts as 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I give it to ODB.
You don't think that ODB wouldn't be able to wrestle an X division match?
It's probably the right weight class.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's bigger than half those guys.
I'll take a beard as well.
All right, heads or tails, or depending on how many sides of the die you can roll.
Let's see. It says Samoa Joe will knock everybody down in an attempt to climb the structure. However, it will buckle under his weight and collapse over all the wrestlers and the first 5 rows in the audience, becoming known as the greatest tragedy in wrestling history and officially sealing the deal at TNA's death from all the lawsuits. I hope that one comes true.
At least that part. We missed out on episode 85.
Sounds pretty accurate.
Yeah.
All right, 2 main events that we have: Magnus versus Sting. And this is a weird storyline where Sting, instead of teaming up with Magnus and other members of the main event mafia to face off against Aces and Eights, which you would think would be something that this pay-per-view would be built around because, you know, that is the main stable of the company, the main purpose of the company right now, we have Sting facing off against his teammate, and he has essentially said, you don't think that you're good enough. I think that you're good enough, so you're going to beat me at this pay-per-view, and that'll teach you that you should win other matches too.
What?
Yeah, this is basically built around the idea that Magnus should beat Sting, and then the fans will care about him more, and he'll understand what it's like to be a top guy, and then he'll be one of the main guys in TNA, because beating Sting will put him on the map. The problem with that is you can't really... The problem with that is you can't really announce that ahead of time. You have to do what WWE did with, you know, I'm going to wrestle John Cena and I'm going to beat you for the title, and that'll prove that me, Daniel Bryan, I deserve to be on the top. You can't have people flat out say, like, we want you to be a top guy in our company, so for the fans' sake, if you beat Sting, then you'll look good. That's fucking awful. I don't understand why they decided to do this.
Word for Garrett Bischoff.
Oh, God, it's just, this is exactly the type of thing that I think is stupid with TNA. Because if you wanted to have these two people wrestle each other, and you wanted Sting to put over Magnus, don't mention it ahead of time. I don't know.
I just want to say that I disagree with Sting. I think Magnus isn't good enough to beat Mickie James, and I really, really wish this match was a loser gets fired. Then after Samoa Joe crushing everyone and killing everybody, we probably wouldn't have to tolerate it. But it's there. A match that makes no sense, has no point to it. TNA's making me miss Russo.
What do you think, Lego?
Oh, you was talking to me, so I couldn't hear you. I don't really care about this match whatsoever. I'm just gonna say Sting because they've announced it early and hoping it's going to go in a different direction than they're being. I don't know. It just seems like a really dumb storyline. It seems more complex than Burhan's question.
Thank you.
Peyton, Magnus or Sting?
Head stank, tails humongous. Stank.
And we're at the heavyweight championship. Bully Ray defends against AJ Styles. And we've talked about this before. This whole AJ Styles thing going on with the Lone Wolf and Dixie Carter turning heel and whatever. Some people are really into it, and, you know, your mileage may vary. I think it's poorly done. Kind of the same thing I think about pretty much everything that goes on with TNA. I completely understand why they have AJ Styles doing this, though, and I think it's a good idea that AJ is the one facing Bully Ray, but they never should have had Bully Ray drop the title in the first place to Chris Sabin. They never should have had anything really leading up to this except for Bully Ray being the head of the stable and AJ Styles fighting for... Well, he's not even really fighting for TNA now anymore. But AJ Styles wins the title here. That's what I'm going back with. So... Burhan, who's winning? Bully Ray or AJ?
Nobody, because the crowd's not going to win. You know what? I'll pick a winner. Let me pick a winner. AJ Styles, because I think everyone's had enough of Bully Ray and Aces Nates. Are they stable still?
Judging by the card, I doubt it. If they are, not WWE, TNA doesn't give a shit about actually putting the rest of the people on the card.
They're
Could the
unstable.
main event be like...
They're unstable.
Could it be like Brooke Tessmarker versus AJ Styles? That would work for me.
Maybe it'll be Brooke against... What the hell was the name of that woman that was supposed to be like knocked up by AJ? Claire Lynch or something?
Oh, God, no. God, why put that image in my head? That's worse than Nancy Benoit.
Who do you think's winning, Steven?
I'm going to go with AJ Styles. I mean, I think it'd be a really dumb move to keep the belt on Bully at this point. I know he had a loss against Chris Sabin, but it was for a really short period of time, so it's about time he's out of the main event picture. It's about time he's out of the title picture. And I think, I mean, part of me was thinking maybe Dixie's going to screw AJ, but that seems like it'd be too obvious. Though I wouldn't put that past TNA. So I'm saying AJ, I'm hoping AJ, and stay out of the fucking main event, Dixie.
Please. I'll pay you.
Heads, AJ Sampson. Tails, Hank Aaron. The Eliminator.
That about wraps up everything with Bound for Glory. As you guys can tell, we are not very interested in Bound for Glory.
No.
It is not something that we are looking at as, you know, this grand finale of the year, biggest pay-per-view of the year kind of a thing that TNA likes to advertise it as. And, you know, it's no WrestleMania. I mean, we were more excited going into Battleground thinking it was going to be awful than we were going into this Bound for Glory. But who knows? I'm still going to give it a shot. I hope that I don't end up pulling my hair out watching the pay-per-view. And if you guys want to follow along with all the live coverage, make sure you go to smarkoutmoment.com itself and check that out. Chat alongside. Keep me company while I'm watching that because God knows I'll need it.
And he needs meds. So send your meds to smarkoutmoment.com and Tony will give the address.
That'll knock out pay-per-view coverage. So the only thing left to do is talk about some plugs. First plug, as always, is the Sign Me Up initiative. Bring a Smark Out Moment sign to any kind of event, whether it's Bound for Glory, or WWE, or ROH, or anything of the sort. Send a picture or video of it to me, and I will put it up on the website and on the next episode of Smack Talk. Remember to send in those monthly mailbag questions over the course of the next few weeks, everybody. Leave your comments, subscribe to everything on iTunes and Stitcher and YouTube itself. And I'm going to send this over to Wego.
Well, I'm going to be on Keeping Kayfabe tomorrow at 9 o'clock, where we'll be going head to head with TNA. The only other show I've got this week is Otaku Nation, where I'm going to be talking Attack on Titan. It's probably been the best anime that I've watched in a goddamn long time, and I've sat through a lot of abysmal ones, so I'm not one to rate an anime and just for the sake of saying it. I don't think I've got anything else going. I'm going to be starting a new job. Unanimous Decision MMA, which I normally host, is up in the air right now. You can follow at UDMMA and get any news on what's happening with Unanimous Decision.
All right, Burhan.
Yeah, www.nerdgenius.com, www.fanboysanonymous.com. I am going to be posting an article before the end of the week about the IP Expo. I covered it as part of the Fanboys Anonymous and a series of vlogs, and it's great. We're going to be. It looks in depth about social networking, IT infrastructures and stuff, and it's really, really awesome. I learned a hell of a lot of new things, pissed Microsoft off, which is a great thing, and I'm hoping to actually be covering a few more events and stuff on behalf of Fanboys Anonymous as well. This Job for Hire episode 3, we're going to basically start filming that and editing that soon. And Enigma Entertainment, new production facility that I've put together as well. That's going to be debuting soon as well, guys. There's loads of stuff going on with the life of Michael Burhan. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter at Michael Burhan, or follow me on Facebook, basically, by either joining my personal page, facebook.com/Michael Burhan, Nerd Genius, facebook.com/NerdGenius, GENIOUS, or you can basically follow me on the Fanboys Anonymous Daceman show. I've got a bajillion pages. And check out I Got Gameplay this Saturday, 8 p.m.
Payton?
Oh, keep listening to everything at Mega Powers Radio over at megapowersradio.com. There's cool stuff going on every night, specifically Keeping Kayfabe, which I have going every Thursday at 9 p.m. Head to head with TNA Impact, blah, 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 blah. This week we're doing Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker. This Thursday, 9 p.m. on Mega Powers Radio at megapowersradio.com.
Aren't you going to be hosting an episode of I Got Gameplay this Saturday as well, Payton?
I'm taking over.
He is.
All right, guys, if you're interested in everything else under a mango tree, other than fanboysanonymous.com, which we already mentioned for everything geek, you can go to outonlimbs.com for my viewpoints on everyday life kind of stuff. You can follow a mango tree, Tony Mango, and all the other websites on Facebook and Twitter. Just do a search for the name. You'll find everything that you need to find at amangotree.com and everything else like that. Thank you to everybody who participated on the show and everybody who has listened to this episode. Coming up next week, we will review Bound for Glory, so hopefully it's not as bad as we're kind of expecting it to be. You never know. If it is, we'll just run it down. Doesn't matter. And we'll also be predicting Hell in a Cell. So we got 2 pay-per-views coming up next week on episode 103. Stay tuned for that. Make sure you check it all out. But for now, this has been another Smark Out moment, and we're being counted out. Adios, everybody.
Doom. It's the outro and I'm getting serious. It's the outro gonna make you wait. It's the outro, though the show won't end yet. This the outro, it's more bait than TNA. Doom, 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 doom. It's the outro and it's going down the toilet. It's the outro being booked by Russo. It's the outro and it's gonna end now. One more thing I wanna say. Goodbye.
This is fucking awful.
I know. I'm tired.